He put that big finger in my chest. He goes, I hold you responsible. Anybody gets out of here, I'm coming to see you. So I was like, wow, it would be good. Well, we went there, we did. We had fun. It was nice. We performed. It was you a singer, please?
I'm a singer. In the shower, yeah. I can hit some notes in the shower. I want to go with
When I dig out all the way from her class, I'm like,
I know what we have won, but what's the other one like that? That's not on that agenda.
Yeah.
starting over.
That's what that, will it end up looking like? Yeah, that's my in-laws. It will end up looking like that.
I'm tempted to get for it. Yeah.
What's it say?
That's what I'm like.
How, you can't, on the agenda, I don't know anything else. I can everything else we do. But Nick kindly messaged me and like explained everything to me. But like most people don't know or don't know Nick. You know what I mean? So it's like I just the other thing is the Florida police. Why are we trying to Florida police and the benefits you're not seeing? So you can get free. No, so this is like advertising. You're going to be notarized over Florida. I just, in my mind, I'm still like, you'll get pissed.
Someone messaged me today and said I was going to come and go to the court and it's too much.
It's too much.
I'm like, it's going to be bang.
Okay, I know it's like hopefully too deep, but
Probably his boundaries.
there's a lot of
Make sure
things to.
you're right.
Nick, have you? I have to talk to you about this. Remember that lady that came in that manufactured home? Why didn't that go to zoning first? Should have let him go to zoning. Now the storage site is freaking out. Yeah, I know. Really? I didn't, they said they were trying not to tell them. Let's do Yeah, so I'm doing my own research on that. I didn't think about it when she was here, but I'm like, why didn't I? They had no, they didn't say anything about the historical overlay. I didn't realize it was in our pill. I need to go back and watch it. I don't know the difference between a mobile home, manufactured home, versus a modular home.
Yeah.
Well, you go away? Oh, he did. He did good. How are you? Good. I'm sorry I have to miss you on Thursday, but I taught her how to live stream so I can watch it all. You should be doing those things. The LCA, civics refresher. I didn't go last week.
All told jail.
Okay, again, good evening, everyone. We're going to start our caucus meeting this evening. We'll dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance since we've already done that. So please, Sarah, call the roll.
Mr. Bogart?
Here.
Mr. Fosco?
Here.
Mr. Zanak?
Here.
Mr. Rader?
Here.
Mr. Reinders?
Here.
Mr. Ward?
Here.
Mayor Liscap?
Here. Under announcements, the minutes of March 19th and April 6th will be provided to everyone by email. We have no presentations this evening. Under public comments, I have here two public requests for comments, one by Rachel Hansen and one by Kimberly Soyson Closute. I don't know if I pronounced that.
Close.
At any rate, so we can, you have 5 minutes to do that, and we can jump into that right now. So let's have Rachel, please.
Good evening, everybody. All right, back to regularly scheduled programming tonight. I'd like to continue the conversation about transparency, access to information, and how that impacts meaningful public participation in local government. So I began reviewing the agenda for tonight's meeting, and it seemed to me that many of the items listed don't really provide enough detail for the public to fully understand what is being discussed or voted on. I mean, I come to every meeting and I still you have no idea what's happening. Without details, context, or attachments, it's difficult for residents to know what they're being asked to weigh in on. I understand I may be one of very few residents closely following these items. But I also wonder whether there would be more engagement if the city made it easier for people to understand the full scope of issues before decisions are made. This could be achieved with just a little more information added into agendas, for instance. This also leads into a larger concern about public participation. The only opportunity for public comment is now, before items are discussed or potentially explained, if they are even fully explained, which makes it nearly impossible for residents to comment in an informed way before this is actually going to a voting meeting. Even when questions are raised here in public comments, there's often no follow-up discussion or response from council, leaving many questions and concerns unanswered. So not knowing what will or will not be further explained, I just wanted to raise my specific questions and concerns about a handful of meeting agenda items. For repository properties, the agenda states that attachments are included, but they do not appear accessible to the public. Regarding Deshawn Park Phase 2, what is Phase 2? Why is a resolution required to apply for funding? Who is applying for the funding and through what program? The agenda references the $75,000 grant match requirement, but the 2026 budget appears to only include $25,000 in total for grant matching. So I just feel like I'm missing something. Why is the city requesting assistance for paving? And from which entity or program would that assistance come? It looks like maybe from the county. I assume probably the Motorola mass communication system is about the system we've kind of been talking about over the last couple months. And regarding the proposed Ford Lawrence municipal membership, which is nearly $10,000, has this been an annual expense, and where exactly is it reflected in the budget? The agenda notes it would come from the council expenses line item, which is $16,600 in the 2026 budget. So just this membership would use up almost 60% of that budget. The benefits of this membership are listed as, on their beautiful flyer, member pricing for events and ads, access to chamber resources, free notary services, sites marketing, grant reviews, and funding updates. I'm just curious which of these services are actively being used by the city and if this level of expense is necessary. For instance, the city of Newcastle is not even currently listed in their municipal directory on their website. So, not raising these as a criticism, which is part of a broader concern about clarity, fiscal transparency, and making sure residents can meaningfully engage in the decisions being made on their behalf. Thank you.
Ms. I'm sorry, you'll correct me.
Good evening, council. My name is Kimberly Soyson Clauseway.
Clauseway, thank you.
But if you want the real pronunciation, it's Clauseway.
Clauseway, French.
Yes. I'm here piggybacking off of Rachel. I saw a lot of pictures of the great event that she held this weekend. Thank you for bringing that together. But it was, in a way, a disgrace. That building with the roof, the old carousel building, is just embarrassing. There was such a nice photo of Chris Fry, Marla Brown, and I'm sorry, I don't know what the third person is, but in the background was the carousel building with half of its roof on. And it's been like that. It's not something new. It's not something that's been all surprised and came up. It's been sitting there for 2 years. That's unexcusable. Why hasn't this been fixed? But we're going to shell out another $75,000 for another park we can't take care of? For Deshawn Park? Where's that $75,000 coming from? Where's the transparency in that? What about that park they're building by the Speedway? Where's all that money coming from? What is it? To me, it just looks like a cement city. I don't have the schematics of it or anything right now, but it's just a mess. Our roads are a mess. In front of my own home, I have a huge bulb from one of the utility companies putting just like a cold patch. Now I have to park in mud all the time unless I fix it. I'm not fixing it. I take pride in my property, but I'm not fixing that. That's city property. That's your street. I have a lot more to speak on, but I didn't have a formal, speech prepared. But I love this city, and I moved here from, down south of Pittsburgh, and I have 5 children in the school district. They are my future. They are our future. And if we don't get things straight in this city, there's going to be no future for them.
Okay, I'm going to answer a couple of those questions. First of all, the term transparency is a cliche today. Everybody talks about transparency. Actually, I don't know how much more transparent we can be. I've said this 5,000 times. We're here every day. If you have some real questions, come and see us. Obviously, the agenda is the agenda. We can't be in the great detail exactly what's on this agenda. And I'm actually tired of hearing that term transparency. Because it implies that we're doing something wrong. We're not doing anything wrong here. We are here all the time. All you have to do is come and see us. Chris is here constantly. Samantha's here constantly. I'm here. And I've given out my cell phone to people. Call me. I can let you know exactly what's happening. We hide nothing. That term transparency, it's been a cliche. Every time I turn around, everybody talks about government being transparent. Yeah, we're transparent. We are transparent. Everything you need to know is right here for you. Now, as far as the carousel is concerned, here's the issue with the carousel. You're right. It's been too long. There's no question, and we're frustrated by it. Okay, and we've gone out and we tried to publicly raise some funds for it. We didn't raise that much for it. But we did get a $100,000 grant for that. And additionally, we put $16,000 aside for the carousel, and we got a $20,000 donation. So we have approximately $137,000, I believe, for the carousel. Now, we have a person coming out and taking a look at it to see if we can fix the carousel for $137,000. If you take a look at that carousel, the beam that runs up into the roof goes all the way to the floor. That's problematic. Goes all the way into the ground. So the person doing this, Brian Heichel's working with the person looking at trying to get this thing within $137,000. He's speaking with Brian Heichel this morning. I explained to him that we need to expedite this and move. He's reaching out to this contractor to see if we can keep it within that price. If not, unfortunately, we're going to have to move to demolish this. There's not one person here that wants to do that, not one. But without the funding, and if that cost is greater than $137,000, then the funding just isn't there. It's just not there. So I can't ask you to come back up here and speak. It's just the way it
No, I
is.
just had a question. How have the Amish been approached?
I can't let you do that. But no, Brian Heichel handles all of that. But maybe that's a thought. I don't know. Again, they'd have to keep it within $137,000. And it's coming to an answer here real soon.
If I may add, with the carousel as well, the carousel, when we first submitted the grants and gathered all this information, there was a company that worked on those type of buildings with those beams and everything. Once we reached back out to them and we secured the funding, we found out that that company was no longer in business. And hence the reason why it's taken so long. I know we've mentioned this before we provided these updates, but I mean, unfortunately, we've had to go a different route and find somebody who specializes in making these beams.
That's what I wanted you, Chris. I don't know if you or David can go ahead and detail about the logistics of how the carousel building was built. It's not something that modern construction does. It has been made dramatically. And for us to recreate how it was originally built, we would basically have to bring it down to the studs and then rebuild it again, because the beam, again, correct me if I'm wrong, David, one of the beams that supported it, when it cracked, causes all the tension on the rest of the roof, and that is what's causing it for it to collapse. I don't know if I'm saying it right, because I'm not in construction. The terminology that I remember is it that they bend the wood? Is it, no?
I'll explain it. There are, I believe, 8 arches that all go together and touch each other. So if one of you wanted to come up and we leaned against each other and I pulled my hands away, you would fall. In essence, that's what's happened. That one arch failed, and it was like a domino effect. The arches on either side of it, they failed. Now, it hasn't spread to, all of the arches, but we've lost three sections, like a pie, 3 pieces of pie. And when I met with Brian and the vendor that disappeared, his quote was over $400,000 to fix that. We got a second quote, Brian did, for someone that was over $200,000. So it's going to be really difficult to find somebody that knows what they're doing, because as Eddie explained, that roof is made up of individual pieces of wood, one layer after another, till they become a thick arch. And, there aren't too many people that can do that today. Hopefully we can find somebody. If not, then, I don't know what we'll do. We'll probably have to do what Mark said, and demolish it, which is a shame. But that's the real bottom line for all of this. Everything we talk about is, I agree, we should do better, we should do more, I want to be proud of the city. I want to have good things too. The way we do that is we raise your taxes, because you can't get blood out of a rock. Now, none of us want to raise your taxes, unless you tell us it's okay to raise your taxes. Because there just is not enough money. When you go to the grocery store, you can only buy what's in money in your pocket. Well, yeah, it's not true, you have a credit card. We have a credit card too, but you don't want us to run up our debt. That would be foolish. So we're working with what we can work with, and we try. Sure, we'd like to do better. Sure, we should do better, but you can only do so much in this situation.
And I have to say, and I appreciate what you're saying, because when I was at the park all Saturday, and I kept looking at the carousel building too, and it's frustrating. We have a beautiful park.
Yeah.
And we agree with that. And the reason it's taking so long is because we're out trying to save it, we're out trying to raise money. And it's hard. You keep going to the same people over and over again that would give. So that's why it's taking long. We're going out and getting money. It took a while for the grant to come in, so that's why it takes long. And I've said this again 1,000 times. Everybody here feels our frustration. Government moves so slow. It moves so slow. It just kills me. But we appreciate what the comment is, and I can tell you that all of us were at the park, and all of us kept looking at the carousel, thought the same thing. But hopefully it's going to come to a head here real soon.
I'd like to say one related to what I said before. Last night I was in downtown Pittsburgh. They just are opening Market Square and this thing called Arts Landing. Basically they didn't build it for the draft, but they want them to be usable for the draft. They spent $31 million on Arts Landing. I don't know what they spent in Market Square. They get more government support than we do. Of course, we have more people that live there. But, if you want us to do things, and we should do more things, tell your representatives us too. But, you know, ask them why the city doesn't get the fair share it should get. Because, you know, Pittsburgh got $600 million from the state. I don't know what we've got, you know, it hasn't been 600 million.
And you did bring up the park going up Highland Avenue. That's a human services project. They're doing it. They're building a park there and an amphitheater, which will, you know, contribute to our concerts and then bring people in the downtown area. So, and they tell me they're about 60 days from finishing. So they're telling me. Okay, any other comments?
I have one thing on, you brought up about utility companies. Chris, what is the process? Because I've noticed, and I understand in the winter months they can just put a temporary patch on it, but we've had some nice weather and there's some decent creators out there from the, and I noticed mostly the water company. So I'm not sure if we can reach out to a representative from them to see, do we have an ordinance that they have to follow, I assume?
Yes, yeah, we have, the process starts with them getting a permit. Water company is a little bit different because when theirs are more emergency, especially when there's a water main break. But the process, they do get a permit. If they get the permit, then we follow suit. They go through code enforcement and they work with our city engineers to do that. Most of the time, they schedule out the final restoration of it. So the company will go out, do their dig, and then they'll coat patch it or fill it with hot patch, whatever's available at that time. And then final restoration comes within, you know, the warmer months or the summer months, or even in the summertime, they just at a later date, they'll usually sub that out or work with a contractor to go back and fill those holes properly.
Now, does RAR go out and do anything, or?
Yeah, they go out and do inspections.
Okay. Because I've noticed there's a few spots on Jackson Avenue that, I mean, they filled it 3 or 4 different times and it's still sinking. So I'm not sure what Jackson Avenue, and there's a spot on East Washington Street too by Maryland. I know.
They just fixed East Long Avenue.
Highland Avenue.
But there's also times where a company won't put in a permit, and we have to track them down and find out, and you go through the process of identifying who did it and where it was at. So if we're aware of it and we see it, or somebody calls us in, we usually track them down, or we'll do our best to track them down.
And after the winter we just had, you're going to have some bad roads. We know that. And our guys are moving and patching when they can, especially some of the roads that aren't going to be paved. Don't forget, we have 107 miles of roads in Newcastle, and it's laborious to take control of all of them, and we certainly know the areas that need help. So, but yes, we sympathize. We drive on the same roads as you guys do, you know. So, and we tell Brian Heichel, everybody calls Brian, hey, can you patch this road? Can you patch that road? Just as a temporary fix. So. Okay, moving on. Under Planning Commission reports. Subdivision plan of Edgar R. Hill, lot consolidation, and is listed there. We need a public hearing date for that. That will be, are we going to do that this week or, oh no, no, we'll do it for the May meeting. Yeah, May 18th. Let's go May 18th. And there's, how many are there? 1. So let's go. Yeah, let's start that at 5:45. Daddy, is that enough time?
I would think we could, yeah, one of them, the subdivision we real quick, I mean, the alley vacation, you never know, who might come out of that.
Let's go 5:30.
I would say to be safe, yeah, it's 7, both 5:30.
Okay, and then that's the petition to vacate alleys.
Right.
And that's Michael McConaughey, alley vacation area, 415 North Cascade. So we'll go 5:18 at 5:30 p.m. Okay. Request a bid on Thursday will be on our agenda for dirt, gravel, low volume road, Deshaun project. And Chris, it was brought up, that Deshaun project is part of Dawn Services in conjunction with the grant. Is that accurate?
No, this dirt, gravel, and low volume road is a grant that we received through the Lawrence County Conservation District.
Okay.
Last year, we went through The evaluation of that, we put out meters, you have to put out meters to see how much road traffic is there. And we submitted the grants, was successfully awarded roughly $54,000. Now that funding is not enough to pave that road because there's existing stormwater issues. So we'll be using these funds to look at stormwater repairs for that area and then follow that up and probably the next year's
That road is pretty bad.
to fix that, yeah.
That road is pretty bad.
Yeah, and without doing any of the stormwater stuff first, it really won't change anything if we go and scratch it or put new base down, and new surface down. So this grant specifically is going to be used to address the stormwater issue.
And if we have plans to develop it into a full-blown, real recreational site, we're gonna have to do that with it.
Yeah.
No question. Okay, bids, we have no bids to be received and open. Under ones that will be open, this is contract number 2026-03, which will be paid by next, this will be on our public meeting to award to Lindy Paving for a total of $19,400, and it's $77.60 per ton. Under resolution, your repository properties are attached for your review.
Do we have anybody here for repository properties?
No?
Repository property?
Yes, Wes, we're here.
Oh, okay, Teddy?
Well, you can come up and you can ask questions.
Yeah. Mr. Bennett, would you come up? Doug, you have to cite your name.
Doug Bennett.
Okay, Doug.
Good evening, everyone. The properties in question, and you'll have to excuse me because this is on short notice, would be 816 South Jefferson, and then also the parcel number 08-087600. There's two lots there. And for reference, it's right behind 2511 on East Washington Street. We just want it so we can keep up with the property and make it look good for not only us and several other businesses.
That's your business then, right?
Correct.
Yeah, everybody should know that, right? Okay. Any questions?
No, not a question, but a comment. I mean, what you guys done down there is exceptional. And I think that, you know, you guys need to be very proud, and our community should be very proud of what you guys do. And your desserts are just delightful.
Well, thanks, but I don't have too much to do with it. It's too hard to work for me. Andrew can take some credit, and also my wife.
Good. Okay. Okay, any other questions for this? Okay, Doug, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a change order for central heating and plumbing for the City Hall restrooms. This is an amount of $2,957, and that is for your review and consideration to furnish and install repairs. Questions to that? No? Okay, Deshaun Phase 2, this is the DCNR Act. A resolution is needed to apply for Phase 2 of the Deshaun Park project in an amount of $150,000 with a $75,000 city match requirement. Chris, you want to explain that?
Yeah, I'll speak to this. This is a continuation on our improvements to that park. We've looked at, we are currently finishing up with and doing a closeout for the first phase of it, which we did paving, we did ADA accessible parking, and they redid some of the dugouts. So this is a continuation on that portion of fixing up the Deshaun Park and making it, you know, cleaner, more aesthetic, and more inviting for the leagues that do take place out there in the community that uses those. So the $75,000 grant fund, each year the city budgets $25,000 to go into a grant reserve. So $75,000 will be used from that grant reserve, which is currently sitting at right around $140,000. So we do have some available funding there, and that purpose is pretty self-explanatory. When we apply for grants, you don't have match, and if they do require match funds, you won't get the grant and you probably shouldn't apply for it. So that's where those matching funds will come from. So again, it's 88 parking, bleachers, dugouts for Deshaun.
Right. And I want everybody to know that that facility is still used quite a bit. I know the high school, their ball field, their ball teams play down there, and there's T-balls and Little League, so this is really needed. And obviously, if we can fix that road, it's be a big plus for us. Has a lot of potential there. Okay, any other questions? Okay. County Liquid Fuel Program app, a resolution will be on our agenda for Thursday to apply for assistance with paving Greenwood in the amount of $66,744.
Yeah, and this is a county grant. County gets their liquid fuel allocation, and then they make the funds available to all Lawrence County municipalities. So this is our application for that, and we pretty much annually we'll put it towards a road or optional road within our 2026 paving list.
Okay.
The likelihood, a lot of times, I know funding has been dwindling, even from the city, from all liquid fuels. So 66,000 is what we put in for. Sometimes we don't get that, so it might be what we receive. If anything, will be a lot less than that.
Okay. Under the C2P2 letter support, Flagler is requesting approval to lease gas and park to make needed improvements to the park. The ask is to approve the attached letter of support expressing commitment to enter a long-term lease and to authorize enter a lease agreement if the grant is awarded. I believe Mr. Ty Rice came here and explained it to us. Are there any questions to this?
I have some follow-up for it. I know this is so the C2P2 grant that Ty is requesting is for the state to accept or to approve or review his application. He needs some site control. So this letter is preliminary to show that the city is committed to continuing his development there. This is not a lease at this current moment. Some of the lease figures that we're looking at, and we'll have continued conversation with Ty. If he receives the funding, we'll look at a lease. I know we had mentioned and in talking to some council members that maybe a 15-year lease is probably more adequate to be reevaluated towards the end, and then also putting provisions in within the lease to if Flywheel, we hope that they do succeed, or if things change, as their mission changes, that we would look at opportunity for the city to exit that at least if need be. And then there's some areas, I know he's looking at about 13 acres, so it's not all of Gaston Park. And when he gave his presentation, what he wants to do is redevelop the tennis courts that are there, and then there's also some of the old pictures of Gaston Park is the cobblestone walkways and the bridges and things like that. So all that's incorporated within the scope of this grant. So we're looking at subdividing and making sure that's really specific in that grant proposal.
Okay. Well, who knows the Ty Rice that he wants to be involved? We appreciate it. Thank you.
That's right.
Okay, under Motorola Mass Communication System, a resolution is going to be needed in the amount of $3,000 per year. This will be funded from council expenses line item. And this is we talked about this before. This is an event of an emergency that we had a few months ago. That we have an ability to communicate with all the residents, and for $3,000 per year, that's a bargain. Questions to that?
Not only for emergencies, I think in general communication, so keep them updated. I think we can communicate mass in regards to that. And this company was able to kind of deal with the hurdle of people just signing up. They have the means to extract all our residents, so it'll be great.
Yeah, and you never expect emergency, but you never know when will come. And if we're able to address our residents immediately, it's a big asset for us.
Yeah, this is a good way to expand our communication. If we, like Councilman Bogart said, they do provide within this phone numbers and information that we can send out mass text, so they do populate all that information for us. For example, Neshanic Boulevard Boulevard was shut down due to some spring water issues over the weekend. You know, currently our only ways to get that information out there is via social media.
Yeah.
So, you know, where folks who may have not seen that or don't use it would not have known that and would have to take a different route to work or school or for emergency purposes. So this is as we continue to build out our communication systems, I think this for the cause, this is a great.
And that message will come right to their phones.
This will come right to them. Similar to what the school district does for like students. If anybody has parent or kids in the school district, you get those notifications right to your phone and your email.
Right. Okay, moving on. I think that's fantastic. Okay, Fort Lawrence 2026 membership, a resolution is needed to pay the annual membership in an amount of $9,500 for 2026. This will be funded from the council expense line item. Questions to this?
We do have Chip here. If you guys would like Chip to do a presentation or talk to you guys about it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Chip to hear the benefits of being a member of Fort Lawrence.
2 months in, you really put me on the spot. So I'm Chip, the new CEO of Fort Lawrence. You guys pretty much know my background, coming out of county government for 3 terms and everything, so I've been 2 months on the job. The membership, gets you membership with us in our organization, municipal membership. That way we can formally work a little bit more closer together, kick off some more of the projects we're currently started with you guys, but more of a formal working relationship with our organization in the city to help you guys grow with added capacity with grant writing from our staff, some other opportunities in there as well.
Question?
When was the last time?
Chip, how many local municipalities are a member of Fort Lawrence? How many local municipalities are a member of the Fort Lawrence and Hayes?
I think we have a quarter to half of the municipalities.
How many? I'm sorry?
A quarter to half of the municipalities in the
A
county.
quarter of us in Lawrence County.
I think a quarter to half, I could be wrong.
Somewhere between 25 and 50%.
Yeah.
David, I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask, when was the last time the city has been a member?
We've been, oh, you mean a paying member?
Yeah.
We haven't been. I don't believe we have.
Find that odd,
Yeah.
as being part of the county, that one time we were the largest municipality, we probably still are.
We still are the largest municipality in the county, and I think that will be a great opportunity to strengthen our relationship with Fort Lawrence, to give us that kind of support that we need as we're really gearing out to economic development coming from the organization that is leading to Lawrence County. I think will be a really good asset for us to have together.
I agree.
Chip, for, obviously, Newcastle is harder than the other municipalities around. But that doesn't mean that we should ever be dismissed. I think everybody sitting here bleeds red and black. And to be honest with you, there's times we've been surpassed and overlooked for development outside of the county. I'm not saying $9,500 should give us first priority, of course not. But we demand to be paid attention to. And I know you know that. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I know you understand that. And I can tell you that I'll be in contact with you quite a bit. Because I think that we are on the cusp, people don't even know us, we are on the cusp of a real renaissance in this community. We are. And we want you guys to be a part of it, we want you guys to assist us, because when all of us work together, those things will happen. So, for $9,500, I'm gonna be calling you quite a bit.
I appreciate that. So one thing too, out of my old role, and then coming here and learning what we do here as well. Honestly, our organization helps you with community capacity. Chris and he has so much time. Samantha and he has so much time. There's only so much time a day to do what you need to do day to day, but with Diane and Max in my office, the opportunities we have to find grants wherever I'm at or what might happen, and also it gives us more of a formal relationship that then I'm working with Chris now on some projects which you saw on Friday, but it makes it more solidified. It gives an opportunity for me to work closer with you guys, and I mean, not at arm's length now, but just in general partnership. And I think a partnership helps us all grow. And honestly, the $9,500 is way less than hiring an extra staff person to go find grants, apply for grants, administer grants, and all that stuff's part of the membership. So it's a good opportunity. And honestly, where I came from prior, I wish our organizations at home had this for my municipalities. because it seems pretty nice. And since I got in 2 months ago, there's been about 2 other municipalities looking to join on, just because of the stuff that they don't know. You know, they have a part-time treasurer, secretary, working in the township. So it's a good opportunity for community capacity. And if there's things that Chris and Samantha, you guys don't have time for, we obviously have the time for that. But also, a nice recognition, a nice partnership, I think, helps us all grow, especially when our office is across the bridge. I can work closely with Chris on how we get that bridge open up sooner than later.
No, believe me, we push, I call every day, believe me, I do. They hang up on me.
I mean, I think it's definitely something that we've talked about before, we've looked at it before, but the formula, as Chip said, is very important. What we've been able to accomplish in an informal relationship has been great. $500,000 assessment grant that we used for the Chenango China, working with the consultants to put in the $4 million grant. That's all we were in an informal relationship and a partnership with him during that phase. The $1 million for Enterprise Park, all informal. The countless meetings and opportunities we get to sit down and talk to each other. You know, last week Chip had brought in Bill Flanagan, and he's doing a piece for Sunday, his Sunday show on WPXI?
Yeah,
He's on Sunday on WPXI. So there's a lot of things that are taking place. So I'm excited for $9,500 to see where we can go in a more formal relationship where we can actually utilize the staff and have those regular meetings. And I know Commissioner Dan Kennedy has mentioned to us that they're utilizing Fort Lawrence for grant writing now, and how other municipalities that are memberships with them have taken that on. So, you know, with those, you know, many things that we've already established and done in an informal basis, it truly opens up the door for, you know, opportunities down the road. And I think we can increase that by showing our support to them.
And yeah, just to kind of also sum it up, I think, Mayor, you mentioned that we're different in general. We kind of are a different dynamic than the rest of the county. I think that with their CHIPS expertise and also Fort Lawrence expertise, our needs are going to be also kind of absorb and view how it can make us better. So, you know, we might not be able to, you know, hold a plant for like 8,000 people because obviously we don't have the property, as we are a little bit more kind of urban in that sense. But, you know, with us being in conjunction with Chip, he is able to be mindful of things that are happening out there, and he can bring them back to us and say, this is something that can fit our community and how we can make it happen. So I think it's going to be great.
And Chip, I'm retired, so I'm doing this job 24/7. You can call me anytime.
God bless you, my friend. Why do you think I'm out of being an elected official? The selected versus elected is way better.
And if I could tell you one other thing, stick around.
That's the
We
goal.
need the executive director of that place to stick around.
Well, and I'll tell you this, and you were there quickly on Friday, but the reason I wanted Bill to come in, not to speak out of school, is I want to highlight things of opportunities and opportunities of growth, and spend positive light on the county, Newcastle, and how do we show the positive happening here and get the mindset turning around. And that's types of things that was why I brought Chris in, and working with him will be really, really nice in you guys. But I'm really trying to figure out how we scream from the rooftops. Things are different, things are changing, we're positive. Here's growth, here's things happening. How do we just keep getting those little wins and continuing on? I think that story Bill's going to do is a start, and then Bill's probably going to do a follow-up when the day comes, Chenango China comes down. Hopefully we're all here for that day. But get that day going and keep things moving along. And plus, I'll get it again, with the formal relationship, honestly, me being new, not understanding how it all worked 2 months ago, but getting it now, it really helps me and us as well to actually have a formal relationship that I can call Chris more often. I don't have to worry with my boards will yell at me, which they never will, but that formal relationship, I think, solidifies an opportunity to.
And I'm going to give you my cell phone number too, so you have it.
Right, cool.
And, you know, we talk about this all the time, and I think you're aware of this as well. If people realize what's happening behind the scenes and what's going to be happening in this community within 18 months, they'd be amazed. Because we're really on the cusp of some great things here. We really are.
So let's highlight them and give them a grow.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Chip,
your time.
thanks, appreciate you. Okay. Moving on, under the renewal of the NCABA contract, this current contract expired on December 31st, and it needs to be renewed. I forgot, I wish Brian was here. Who now has taken over this contract for the NCABA?
Mr. Hooper, is it Tim Hooper?
Todd.
Todd.
Yep. Okay.
Is this isn't a year, this is like a 5-year term lease, something like that, like before? So I think the last one was a 5-year.
5 years, correct.
Yeah. And if anybody's wondering, that's the Newcastle Amateur Baseball Association. And they usually primarily Dean, is that accurate, Chris? Deshaun and Dean? Okay. Okay, very good. Any questions? Okay, renewal of gas and progressive ball field contract. The current contract expires on December 31st, 2025. It needs to be renewed. The extension request is there for your review and consideration. That's done by Pat Annabelle. Pat came in this morning and met with Chris, myself, and Samantha to give us his plans. You know, economic development can't occur from recreation. It can't if it's done right. And we're really trying to move ahead and improve our facilities. I've said this 1,000 times. A community that loses its desire to improve their facilities for recreation is a community that lost its soul. I believe there's a lot of economic development that can occur from having improved facilities and having tournaments. I can tell you this. I'm watching the college team, the Lawrence County Barons, play during the summer. They bring in a lot of teams from different areas, Altoona, Butler, Kittanning, in Ohio. And after those games are over, all those teams with their fan base go to different restaurants in this community. And that's part of economic development. So I think it's important what Pat Annabelle is doing at Gaston Park and Progressive, and we should assist them in any way that we can to improve these facilities. Anything else? Okay, moving on. Request of Lawrence County it should be 3B Barons. Eric Francis wants to use Alexander Field, and that is attached to review and consideration. Basically the same thing as what I just said. Okay. Purchase request. Purchase of 6 rolls of rubber gym flooring to complete the floor covering in the Newcastle Police Department gym training room. This will be paid for with training room funds which have been donated by the Newcastle Police Department. Any questions to that? Any comments, Chris? Nothing? No? Dave? No? Okay. We have a couple of resolutions on the table. It's a conditional use request of Justin Gonzalez of Superior Street for automotive sales, service, and repair. And a conditional use request of Michael Ann Lewis for the apartment house Airbnb. These resolutions can be voted on our meeting Thursday night. We have no ordinance for consideration. On the table, attached to the caucus agenda, is a handicap parking only space at 224 South Liberty Street. This can be adopted Thursday night. Under new business, on Thursday night, we'll have the presentation of the Newcastle Police Department Life Saving Award to Anthony and Connor Shaner at our council meeting. We are going into executive session for the hiring of 3 casual firefighters on Thursday night. We have no threat litigation or negotiations, no sale lease of property. If there are no other issues here, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Anything?